Alright class, let us go to group 5. We have Emily, Brandon, Angela, Andreas, and Paige. So let's start off with Emily's work. So Emily, let's take a look at your progress so far and see where you've gotten. So I think you've got some interesting elements on your page. So this layout right here for your italics works nicely. You just want to make sure like you also have this effect for the rest of your copy. So latte, lavender, iced also have this diagonal treatment as well. Alright, so that's what I would recommend for yours right here. For this one, I would say this area right here is kind of standing out a little too strong for me, that I don't really see anything else in the layout that has that curved quality about it. So I would just refer back to some of the areas that you have in your previous layout, such as how you've treated light, sweet, and floral here, and see if there's something we can bring maybe to the pull quote or the ingredients. I'm not really seeing, or maybe this is your pull quote, light, sweet, and floral. So that would be fine, but I'm wondering if there's something about this type of text where it's light and airy that can bring itself in to not just your pull quote, but maybe parts of your ingredients list. Try that out and see if that works. But I think maybe bring in some color, see if that might work also. That might make things a little bit stronger. But I definitely think this is going in the right direction. Okay. Let's go to Brandon's work. So Brandon, this was last week, this is this week. I think looks much more cleaner. We have more space to work with, which is great. Some use of color, which is nice. Some areas for improvement here. So I think your ingredients, where it says ingredients, a little too close in space. Same for stew. So we want to make sure that we have a bit more space in this area right here for stew. Bring it down a little so you can have a bit more space for where it says ingredients. And then your instructions also still very tight on the space right here. So I would say shorten this out or edit it down somehow, but there's definitely a lot of closeness in certain typographic areas. Okay. I think this reads a little bit better now. That way it's not as confusing. I'm trying to think if there's something you can do to unify this part of the text to this right here. Right now they kind of seem a little disjointed. So I'm wondering if there's somehow you can unify this with this right here. And I'm not really sure, because I think these two parts just don't seem to make sense next to one another. Alright? And I'm seeing that the text right here looks like it's been squeezed, so I want to make sure that we're not doing those funny moves to the text itself. We want to make sure we're using text straightforward as we are here. Alright? But yeah, I would just say definitely try to simplify a little bit more and make things a bit more readable, and see if there's a way for us to make this area right here with the instructions make more sense with your ingredients list. Right? It kind of seems more of a better area right here to compare with your denotative, because your ingredients list is very nicely laid out with nice spacing, and then your instructions is also in a nice area for your column, just a little bit more text heavy, and it's also bold. So this correlationship works nicely, but for some reason I'm not seeing the correlationship between this block of text with this block of text. So I'm wondering if there's something else we can do here. Okay. If you want to see me for a bit more details one-on-one, let me know. Email me for office hours. Let's go to Angela's work. Angela, I think this looks good. I don't know if this is a new version or not. But I think this looks good in terms of where it's going. Um, the color additions are a nice little treat to see. And I definitely remember saying this is a little too big compared to the rest of your text. And I also remember saying we didn't want to do all caps for body copy, right? But I like those little areas you've done over here with your text treatment. I think this works out really nicely. I like how you have those little areas here that kind of divide up the information nicely. Um, and it works well as a layout, right? So good job. I would just say, little things here and there just to focus on in terms of spacing, in terms of contrast, and just, avoiding doing things like all caps for body copy. Okay, so Andreas, this is your newer version right here. So this looks better. I like that you're starting to use a bit more connotative elements right here. Just remember we're not doing upside down text, so we want to make sure this still reads the correct way, right? And if this is, the filling is enclosed in egg roll wrappers, wonton wrappers will also work. You can say wonton wrappers will also work, right? This looks good that you're trying to curve the text. I would say don't space things out this much. Maybe see if you can create a little bit more wrapping around this element that you have in the middle of the page so it actually looks like a roll, right? And for your denotative, I think this works better than your previous version. I'm wondering if there's a different font you can use that's different than your connotative, just to make sure, have a little bit of difference, because both copies, both areas have the text similar, where it's almost the same treatment. So I'm wondering if you can do something a little bit different for the title here. And maybe use something that maybe works with a lighter weight, a middle weight, and a bold weight. Everything looks to be in bold right now, so see if there's a little bit more variety you can use typographically. Let's go to Paidge's work. The Paidge, I don't know if I saw a new version of your layout, but I do remember saying that these two were the ones that I thought worked best for your denotative and connotative, right? And I do remember saying that I liked how you've laid out your information here. It's just that I kind of preferred how you spaced out those paragraphs right here. They're not, one block, right? I would also say try to line up certain things a little bit better. This one right here is kind of throwing me off, your pull quote, so maybe align it maybe to the eye somehow. See if that might work, right? But I think your denotative looks good. I wouldn't change anything about it except your little widow right here. Try to make sure that you end a sentence with at least 3 to 4 words, okay? But that would be my feedback for you. And I think this is it for my critiques for you guys. Hopefully that helped out. If you have any further questions, please email me, and we can always set up time for office hours to delve into this a little bit more deeply, but this will be your final revision to turn in for Wednesday. Okay?